Hi and welcome back to my channel. This video is one that I haven't done anything like for maybe 3 or 4 months, and it is a reading wrap-up. It's not going to be one of my in-depth wrap-ups. Hopefully I will do that with the October wrap-up, but for now I want to just basically tell you what books I read in August and September. Now, I read until about the 9th of August. And between the 1st and the 9th, I was able to read 14 books, but I just took a hiatus away from reading, and I didn't resume until around the first week of September. So I took perhaps a 2-week hiatus. And so in September, I was able to turn that around a little bit and read 22 books. And now that we are in October, I have already read 6 or 7. So I'm slowly getting back into reading, but not at the level that I used to. I don't think I'll ever read at that level anytime soon, but at the very least, I just wanted to tell you about the books that I've read. Now, I hopefully can split the screen, and if I can, I'll do a slideshow of the books that I have read. So I'm not quite sure how I'm going to do it because I've already made the reel. And for example, like I said, the 14 books I read in August. So I'm going to see how it is to edit that into this video. And if it works, we'll go with it. If not, I'll be back and reshoot this. So we'll start off with Murder at the Inn by Gayle. Then I read Getaway with Murder by Diane Kelly. Another Diane Kelly book, A Trip with Trouble. And then I read Cheddar Off Dead by Korina Moss. Gone for Gouda by Korina Moss. And Curds of Prey by Korina Moss. Then I went on to read The Inn on Bluebell Lane by Kate Hewitt, In a Quiet Town by Garza, The Mistake I Made by Sam Hepburn, Murder at the Village Fair by Helena Dixon, The Child Who Lived by Ellie Midwood, A Body in a Cornish Village by D. MacDonald, A Death at the Bayview Hotel by Jameson, and The Berlin Wife's Choice by Marion Kumerow. So with those August reads, I was getting into a couple of series. One of those series was a Diane Kelly series, which is why I read 2 books by her. And then I started a cozy mystery series by Korina Moss, which were the books Cheddar Off Dead, Gone for Gouda, and Curds of Prey. And then I went on and read The Inn on Bluebell Lane by Kate Hewitt, as I mentioned. And then the other ones were all for blog tours. The Garza book, the Sam Hepburn book, Helena Dixon, and all those other books. And you keep seeing me look down. That's because I'm holding my iPad with my notepad open. So the last book that I read in August was a historical fiction. And so for those August stats, I want to give those to you now before I move on to the September books. So I'm bringing up my spreadsheet and going into my summary. Now, just for comparison's sake, in July, I read 45 books to the tune of 15,877 pages. However, in August, I only read 14 books to the tune of 4,120 pages. And that only averaged to 133 pages a day compared to my pretty average of 500 pages a day. So I really slowed down in August. And I'm not feeling too bad about those numbers being so low because I needed to reset. And how did I reset? Well, I reset by watching or binge watching some television shows, and watching those shows was good enough for me as far as giving my brain a chance to calibrate so that I could get back into reading a little bit. So at this point, I'm going to now show you a slideshow of the September books that I read. So the first book was An Orphan's Wish by Lizzie Page, then Murder in Manhattan by Verity Bright, then it was My Child is Missing by Lisa Regan, Sprinkle with Murder by Jenn McKinlay, Buttercream Bump Off by Jenn McKinlay, Death by the Dozen by Jenn McKinlay, Red Velvet Revenge by Jenn McKinlay. Then I read Going Ganache by Jenn McKinlay. Then I changed over to Arsenic and Adobo by Mia P. Manasala, Homicide in Halo Halo by Mia P. Manasala, then Finding Family at the Cornish Cove by Kim Nash, Black Bale and Babinka back to Mia P. Manasala, Sugar and Ice by Jenn McKinlay, Murder by Invitation by Verity Bright, Murder in the Blitz by F.L. Everett, Dark Chocolate Demise by Jenn McKinlay, Vanilla Beaned by Jenn McKinlay, Caramel Crush by Jenn McKinlay, Back to Mia P. Manasala with Murder in Mammon, another Jenn McKinlay book, Wedding Cake Crumble. Then I read The Locked Door by Freeda Mcfaden, and last for September was Dead and Gone by Joanna Schaffhausen. Okay, so to wrap up September, you'll notice that there were some repeat author names in there. Two were Jenn McKinlay and Mia P. Manasala. And then there was also a two-book read that I had by Verity Bright. But let's go back to Jenn McKinlay. For Jenn McKinlay, I started her series, and I need to get the name of that series. And that is her Cupcake Bakery Mystery Series. There are currently 15 books out, with book number 16 scheduled for release in 2024. So for September, I was able to get the first 10 of those read. And that's why you kept hearing me say Jenn McKinlay, Jenn McKinlay, Jenn McKinlay. That is a delightful, cozy mystery series where our main character, Mel, along with her best friends, Tate and Angie, own a cupcake bakery business that has been turned into a franchise. There's romance in there. There's murder because it's a cozy mystery series. And then you have an amateur detective in the form of Mel. I don't want to tell you about, well, I will mention something else. Angie, one of the supporting characters, she has 7 brothers. And so you see those brothers, in one brother in particular, in every single book. And then in successive books, you see all of the other brothers. Now, we're already into October, and I have read 2 more. So I'm currently up to book number 12 in the Jenn McKinlay series. Okay, I'm sorry, I did have to confirm the correct name of the series by Mia P. Manansala. Now, what I like about that series, it's called Tita Rosie's Kitchen Mystery Series. Now, I have read all 4 books. I started off reading the first 2, then I read a couple other books, and then I read the 3rd one, and then I finished the 4th one. As far as I know right now, there's not a 5th book scheduled, but I'm sure there will be one sometime in 2024. Now, our character in this book is funny because her name is Lila Macapagal. When I was listening to this, because I got these first couple of ones from the library, I was determined not to mess up that name. But anyway, she is home and she is now working for her auntie's shop. And as they're cooking and baking and doing all those things in a shop, there's murders that are taking place. And then she has three godmothers, and she calls them by a cute nickname because their names are April, May, and June. So in this Arsenic and Adobo, that's the first one, Homicide and Halo Halo. Then there was Blackmail and Bibikinga and Murder in Mammon, which looks like I haven't even put them into my Goodreads. I'm just, I'm cheating. I am cheating because I haven't made a video like this in a while. So anyway, so I have made August and September mostly cozy mysteries. In fact, when I mentioned making them mostly cozy mysteries, that's when I had mentioned the Verity Bright books, and that was Murder in Manhattan and Murder by Invitation. Now, Murder by Invitation I had for a blog tour, so that review is on my blog. And then I read Dead and Gone by Joanna Schaffhausen. Dead and Gone was Detective Annalisa Vega number 3, which I'm so glad that I got that book for review because previously I had read Gone for Good and Long Gone, so I was able to read Dead and Gone. So that was a crime thriller. Now there is going to be a 4th book, and that's coming out sometime at, in about a year, not quite a year, 10 months, at the end of August or the middle of August, and that is called All the Way Gone. And I love that series, and I was so glad that I was able to read Dead and Gone so that I am caught up with that series. And I think that's all I want to highlight. I read The Locked Door by Freeda Mcfaden, which was a good book that I had for review, so I got it on NetGalley. But because it's a re-release, the previous version of it came out on my library, so I listened to it, and it was not the best audiobook narrator that I've listened to, but I went ahead and listened to it anyway. I'm glad because I love Freeda Mcfaden. And I want to mention something else too, jumping back to the Jenn McKinlay books. I'm not quite sure who the narrator is. Susan Boyce. Okay, I'm just going to go with memory. Put the iPad down. Okay. Susan Boyce has narrated every single Jenn McKinlay book that I have listened to so far, and I just finished 12 or 13. I just finished one just before making these videos. And about 80% of her reading is on point, but she has like kind of a lisp that comes out only at certain points. So I thought perhaps there was something wrong with the audio when I was getting it through Hoopla, so I switched over to Libby thinking maybe there was just some kind of disconnect with the audio. But unfortunately, the audio is not perfect. So if I were to rate Susan Boyce in these Jenn McKinlay books, I would have to say that I would give it like a C minus. Or on a scale of 1 to 10, 10 being good, I would give it maybe a 4. But I'm going to go ahead and finish it because I'm somebody who likes to finish what I started. So I have all but the last book for audiobooks from my library. The one that I have as a Kindle book is Sugar Plum Poisoned, which I think comes out in about 2 or 3 days or a week. And that one I'll be reading as a Kindle book. So for right now, I just finished For Better or Worse. The next one I have is Strawberried Alive. And then there's an anthology that she does with Christy Conley, and sometimes you don't get anthologies from your library, so I'm not sure if I'll be able to get Fairy Tale Cupcakes read. And like I said, once I get over to Sugar Plum Poison, that's going to be a Kindle book. So that's my experience with the series that I have been reading for the month of September. So I want to just give you my stats for September. So I'm going to bring that spreadsheet back up because I gave you my stats for August, and my stats for September were just a wee bit better, because with August I had read 14 books to 4,120 pages, as I mentioned already. But for September, I read 22 books, and that jumped up to 6,680 pages, or 223 pages a day. So I remember took 2 weeks off in August. Then I picked up a little bit more in September, and now we're in October, and I'm almost a book a day. So my reading is coming back into play. And I do want to take this brief moment to say that there's something that I might try to share with you on this channel. I may have shared it with you a year and a half or even 2 years ago, but there's this planner that I'm getting from someone off of an Etsy store, and I have some ideas on how to enhance my wrap-up videos by use of that planner that I'll start in January. Now, I do currently have one for the rest of this year, and I may just start using it for October, November, and December. So I do hope to bring in a better flavor of book review videos, of wrap-up videos, maybe even my TBRs, because really the channel name used to just be Robin Loves Reading, and then it was Robin Loves Reading and all the things, and now it's Robin Loves Reading Puzzles and More, because most of my content is jigsaw puzzles. But first and foremost, I am a reader. So I just wanted to let you know that I'm thinking of talking about this planner on this channel to let you know how I plan on enhancing this aspect of the channel. So if you managed to stay with me this long, I want to thank you, and I will be back with more. And if you have any questions about any of the titles that I've mentioned, just leave it in the comment section, and I can summarize or give you a link or whatever. But for now, I want to thank you so much for watching, and believe me, I will be back with more. Bye-bye.